This is 8th grade, Module 7, Lesson 16 on Converse of a Pythagorean Theorem. So as you see here, we have two right triangles. This is the original triangle. This is a duplicated triangle. And what gives it away are these little hyphens here that show that it has been replicated. Now you notice that we have two A's. We have two B's. We do not have two C's, so we're going to fill that in. And over here we have a right square, so we're going to add the right square here. So now that they are completely duplicate, we can say that a squared plus b squared will give me c squared. And this is what ultimately makes up the Pythagorean theorem, is finding triangles, right triangles within these measurements. Now, these are your legs. When they talk about legs of a triangle, that's these legs, the A and B are both legs. Sometimes they may refer to this one down here as the base. That can also take place. But this C is always going to be called your hypotenuse. Now, your hypotenuse is always going to be your longest side, or it's the side that's directly across from your right square. All right, so there's some vocabulary that you also need to know. So let's look down here at the exercises. And what we're going to do is find out the measurements of these sides. So I have a triangle with legs 3 and 8. So that means this is my A and that's my B. And the hypotenuse of root 73. So there's my C. So I'm going to say 3 squared plus 8 squared equals root 73. And I need to square that. All right, now 3 squared gives me 9. 8 squared gives me 64. And when you square a root, you're left with just the number. So just 73. I'm going to go ahead and add these together. So 9 plus 64 gives me 73. 73 does equal 73. So yes, this will give me a right triangle. If you had two different answers here, like let's say this wound up being a 56 versus 73, then your answer is no. This would not give you a right triangle. All right, let's go to the next one here. Number 2. What is the length of the unknown side? So this is my unknown side here. So I have legs. This is going to be my A. That's going to be my B. So we're solving for C. I'm going to say 1 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. 1 squared is 1 plus 16 equals C squared. 1 plus 16 gives me 17 equals C squared. And if you remember, we're going to square both of these. So I'm going to take the square root of that, square root of that. And when I square root a square, I'm left with just the C. And the square root of 17 is going to give me plus or minus 4.1. So we can say the length of the hypotenuse is root 17, which is about 4.1 inches. And that's your answer there. Let's look at number 3. So if you see 3 also has 2 legs and we're missing the C. We're missing the hypotenuse. We have 2 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. 2 squared gives me 4. 6 squared gives me 36 equals C squared. All right, so 4 plus 36 is going to give me 40 equals C squared. Now I'm going to take the square root. I'm going to square root 40 and square root C squared. And that'll give me just plain C. But with 40, I know I can get it factored out. So 40 can factor into 4 times 10. 4 is a perfect square, so I'm going to keep that one. And this breaks into 5 and 2. So I'm going to also have those as well inside the root. So I'm going to say that this is root 4 times 5 times 2. So I'm going to take my perfect square of the 4. I'm going to take that out of there. I'm going to square root the 4 and I get 2. And what's left inside just stays. So 5 times 2 gives me 10. So C is going to equal 2 root 10. Or you can say, if you went ahead and multiplied that out and solved it, you would get 6.3 millimeters. All right, let's look at number 4. Again, number 4 wants to know, will this give you a right triangle? So we have lengths of 9 and 9 with a hypotenuse of 175. So I'm going to set this one up for you, and then you're going to go ahead and solve it. So we have 9 squared plus 9 squared is going to equal 175, the square root of. Okay? Now don't forget, you have to square this one as well. So go ahead and solve this out. Remember, if you get the same answer on both sides of the equal sign, they are equal. If you don't get the same answer, then it's not equal. And the rest of this worksheet is on you guys. So that ends this video tutorial.